Hey, everybody. Today, it looks like my head is so much bigger than Mary's. Today we're going
Does
to talk
that
about
make you feel better?
geocoding. Yeah. Um, yeah, because I've got to get close enough to move the computer. So we're going to talk about geocoding, which we were just saying is fairly easy these days. So let's
We like easy
in, and I'm going to do
because it used to not be easy.
demo for you. Oh yeah, and I love how all these things are right over my map. Can you see my ArcGIS Pro
Yep.
screen?
Oh,
Okay.
look, there's my house.
Hey, mine's on there too. Yeah, so I downloaded some crime data from LA County, and we're gonna see if we can geocode that today. So it's in this CSV table. I'm gonna open it so you can see what the actual data looks like and the different fields. So it's covering my thing, but you can see I think there's 99 records. Oh, great. And it is covering, so
It's
uh,
all clear. I can actually see the whole thing on here.
I know, but I need to move something at the bottom of
Oh
the
no,
screen. I can't.
that gets old fast, doesn't it?
How do I move this dang thing? Oh, there we go. Okay.
So
Um,
this is a known issue, GIS issue though. If you're not on a big screen, a lot of times the controls you need are off the edge of the screen. So you're
yeah,
not going crazy. You're just going to have to resize or move the thing around or whatever.
yeah.
And
Okay.
another fun thing, using two monitors, like I'll have a dialog window that's on the other screen, which is fine when I have the two screens, but then when I unplug from that and I'm using my laptop elsewhere, now that screen is off in oblivion. So
Yes.
again, you're not going
Phantoms.
crazy, but you'll see it at the very edge of your screen and you can drag it back.
Yeah. Okay, so I went through before I even geocoded the data, I went through and I looked and I found out that the address part was in a field called location. So there we've got our location right there. Um, I did do a geocode on it just with that, and it put it all over the country. So I went back in and I added a city and a state field. So these are all things to think about when you're geocoding. And knowing what to look for when things don't go right. So as soon as it went all over the country, I was like, oh, that can't be right. So, okay, so we've seen that. So let's go ahead and do the geocode. So I right click and I'm going to go geocode table and go through all the steps. And now this other window is in my way. It's funny, the safest place is just to put it on the map. Okay. So this is really nice these days. It walks you through everything and it takes you through step by step. So let's get to it. So we're going to start and we're going to use, now you can create your own what is it called? Address locator, input locator, apparently. You can make your own. That's why it's a drop down, but it's almost always just easier to use the ArcGIS World Geocoding Service. And you have access to that because you're logged in with your ArcGIS Online ID. So we're going to pick that one and go next. And then it knows I only have one table, so that it knows. Now it's asking me, is my address in one field or is it in multiple fields? And so I showed you I have the location, the city, and the state. So we're going to leave it at more than one field. And click next.
And what kind of tables? I know it does a CSV or an Excel file.
Yeah,
Are
I
there
think it does the
others?
text file as well.
Oh,
So those would be the ones so you can see for city, it's smart enough to know that there's already a field called city and a field called state. So it fills those in for you automatically, but it does not know where those addresses are. So I'm going to come down here and pick location. Then at the bottom we go next. And so this is like basically what do I want to call it? And I've got one in there that I ran yesterday, so we'll just let that do. And do I want to add it to the map? Yes, I do.
what are the preferred location type? What are the options there?
Oh, here. Oh, it's just address or
Hmm.
route. Okay, let's go next. So this is kind of new to this to Pro is that you have to choose the United States because as you can see, they have customers all over the world. So we'll pick United States and next, and then location usually to a specific type. And yes, actually they are. They're all addresses. So postal is if you have like zip codes um that you're going to geocode to. So ours are all addresses and we're gonna go finish. And then it basically wants you to look through and say, okay, did I get all the specifications correct? And I look and I say, okay, it looks like you did. But then to use this World Geocoding service, it costs credits. So with ESRI. And so those are tied to your login, and the university gives you, I'm not even sure how many, but they give you a certain amount. So you almost always want to check those credits because if it comes up with some crazy amount of like, it's going to be 5,000 credits, then you know you did something wrong. So we're going to click on that and estimate the credits. Okay, it's going to be just right around 4 credits.
4 credits. All right. I
Yeah.
got my book out. I'm going to look in here and figure out which chapter we have the discussion of credits.
Okay. So I decide, 4 credits. Yep, let's roll the dice. Let's do it. And so you click down here, run, and watch how fast this goes. Wait, did I click it? There we go. Yeah, look how quick that was. Okay, and then it comes back and it said of the 99, we've got 93 that matched, 0 unmatched. That's what you really want to see. And then 6 that were tied. And that just means that it wasn't like 100% sure that those were matches, but it's good enough that it put a dot on the map. Um, so do we want the rematch process? We don't because all of ours matched. If they don't match, here I'm going to go with no, and then I'm going to show you in the table. So here's our points, and in the table, here's what it did to our data. It added all these crazy fields at the beginning. So the one that's important is this status. And so it's either going to be, oops, M for match, T for tie, or U for unmatched. So if you get any that are unmatched, you can do a query by attributes to see which ones those are. And a lot of times you can tell just by looking at them what was wrong with it. Um, yeah, so it's a good way to go in. And then what you can do is go back to Excel or whatever, fix up your data a little bit, and then rerun it. So, okay, so it's got all these. It's basically these fields are what Pro's process is. So first it says, oh, okay, what's the address type? And it puts something in there. And then it's, oh, okay, what is, because if you saw before, all of our addresses had a bunch of extra spaces and stuff. So it's kind of cleaned up the addresses. So it goes through all of this sort of stuff. Numbers. I know it's a lot of fields
So
and
it
it,
figures out which side of the street it's on, by the way. So
yeah.
that's a handy thing. So your dots aren't just in the middle of the street. If you were to look at one of them, you would see that it actually has a specific location.
And that's that side with the left or right. So let me get, I'm just trying to go to where our actual field started, which is way down here, because those are not it either.
There you go.
No,
The address one? Or no,
those
it
are
wasn't called
still
address,
Esri
but
fields. So
location, right?
it's object ID is the very first field that was in our table.
Oh,
So all of those things we just looked at to the left of that is part of the geocoding process. So um, sometimes you may want to, once you get a final result, you can go into the table and uncheck some of those fields so they're not visible, um, and save it out to another file. But anyway, sometimes they're good to help you figure out what went wrong if anything went wrong. So I think that's that. Not a lot of crime where we live, Barry, not at least for
See, we're not allowing
LAPD
it.
or sheriff. Uh-huh.
So we found a way to get rid of crime. We made everything legal. And if it's legal, it's not a crime. It's very, very simple system.
Yeah.
So I looked up credit use in the book, which
Okay.
it won't show. Anyway, page 100. So this is in chapter 9 on enriching your data. So
Oh,
spoiler alert here, but this is useful to you to understand credits and how they work. Geocoding is one of the things where you can burn through a lot of credits because often you'll have like a spreadsheet with, uh, or you could have a spreadsheet with thousands of addresses on it. Like what might that be? It might be um, locations of customers. So
yeah.
here's all of my customers for a big company from yesterday, could
Yeah.
be thousands,
And
or
full
from,
disclosure, this thing came with the over 600, and I cut it down to 100 so that it would be cost fewer credits because you're
yeah,
going to pay by how many records you have in the
which
table.
is how you got rid of all the crime by us. So thank you. Just delete
Maybe,
those.
maybe.
Um, but it's where people get in trouble is they will geocode a big data set and then say, oh, well, I don't like the way it did it. I want to change some little thing and then run the whole thing again. That's not helpful.
And even to clean, if you know you have a very large amount of data, you want to look and clean up as much as you can before you run it.
Yeah, or it
And
will
then
come.
actually you could select off only the ones that didn't run and run those through again and then merge them later. That way you're not paying for the whole data set to run the geocode again.
Because nobody wants that.
Bonnie's cheap way to do geocoding.
Yeah. But like some things you might run into is like let's say that it's field people putting in the data, your field workers, and one of them might use N all over the place for north, and somebody else might spell it north, or misspelled street names, lots of things like that. Now,
Yeah.
luckily for people using field apps now, most of them are location enabled. So as long as they're at the spot, there won't be any geocoding. But um, also, there's geocoding that isn't of a regular address. So, like you might geocode things that are just where all you have is zip codes.
Mhm. Yeah, that's why I
Um,
mentioned the postal.
yeah. What else is there? I know I've seen other stuff. Um, or just a city name, even.
Or like a region or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, region, that makes sense. So, like if you have 16 sales regions and you want to figure out, what regions all these things are in, geocoding them to the region is
And
fine.
honestly, even in this data set, there's a field for neighborhood. So if you had a layer for neighborhood, you could geocode to that.
There's so many fun ways to do it.
Uh, there's a lot of fun ways.
So I think that's it for geocoding.
Yep. So have fun.
Yay.